In average, managers spend 23 hours a week in meetings, and 71% of those have been classified as totally unnecessary. So, how do we make sure that meetings are really used for what they are intended to be used for? Precious team time. My name is Jana Pieske, and I'm a coach for remote and hybrid working teams. And in this presentation, I'm going to show you which meetings to keep and which meetings to drop, and especially how asynchronous communication can help you to replace certain meetings. So, what are the reasons to meet up? Meetings are for teams. As earlier said, meetings are precious team time where you come together, where you get to know one another better, where you have fun. So, important meetings you should definitely keep are any type of team building meetings. Whenever it is important for you to react, to interact with one another, this can best be done in a meeting. So, team building meetings are so important for your team. Other meetings which are important are kickoff meetings because kickoff meetings lay down the base rules for a project. They are like creating a common ground for your team, how they want to work together, what are the objectives of the time, and they kind of help you with the motivation. So kickoff meetings are so important to 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 determine what is the project about, how you want to work together, and how it should be. So it gives like the right frame for a project to have a proper meeting right at the beginning of a project. And then at the end, to mark the end of a project, an evaluation or retrospective meeting is so important so that you can invite your team to go up to a meta level to evaluate what things worked pretty well and what has to be improved next time. There, it is so important in those meetings to react to the reactions to one another. You're interacting with one another. You want to have more than pure technical information on the issues. You want to see the reactions, maybe in the faces, maybe in the appearances. All those things are super important and cannot be done through other communication channels rather than a video call or an in-person meeting where you can see how the person is reacting on what you're saying, how's the person interacting with one another in the group. And so these are meetings where you should definitely come together. Another reason why you should hold a meeting is if you have a pretty time sensitive issue and you cannot wait for each team member to give the response through a different channel. Of course, a meeting can have the objective to have an output at a certain time. So let's say you have a 30 minutes meeting and you want to see what you want to determine what you're going to work on the next time. You have a time frame, you are time boxing there, and the team is coming together. I think in such a short period, asynchronous communication cannot help you there. So a quick call in so that everybody can connect is a great help if you have time sensitive issues on discussions and brainstormings, especially if not all perspectives of all team members are needed and you can just connect with everybody who is just present right now. So to decide if a meeting is necessary or not, you should use the CCT rule. So whenever creativity, collaboration, or team building are reasons for you to meet up, this is definitely a good reason to meet up. But what are meetings which you shouldn't attend? Which meetings you should definitely cancel? Meetings which are wasting your time. Don't waste your time in meetings. You have too much to do for that. Cancel meetings which are purely about reporting, status updates, announcements, or one woman or one man show. Whenever it is about one person speaking and the others listening, there are better ways now to do that. We can record those sessions. We can use other communication channels. We don't have to connect live to listen to a person. This can be done on your own schedule in your own time whenever it fits you best. And all reporting meetings, status updates, those meetings, there we know a lot of other channels which are more helpful to transfer pure information. Those things don't have to be done in a meeting. There are other ways you can communicate them. The same is applies for announcements. So whenever there's no need for you to see the reactions of people, to interact with one another, to react to what other people are saying immediately, then there's no need for you to meet up. You can replace those meetings through asynchronous communication. Of course, you're going to be invited to some meetings where you feel like, maybe I'm not really sure if I have to come or not. There are two indicators which help you if you should ask if you should come or not. If you're not really sure if you're really needed in this meeting or not, this is a good reason for you to ask if you should come or not. Because if you're not in the target group of this meeting, maybe you should rather use your time for more important or more pending issues. Or if you're invited to a meeting with no objective or no agenda, it is very hard for you to decide if you really have to be there or not. So maybe you should ask there if they can send you the objectives or the agenda of the meeting, or explain to you why it should be important to go to this meeting. Because meetings should be used in the most efficient way, because we have to enjoy as a team there together. Meetings have to be fun and shouldn't be like a hard burden on us. So asynchronous communication is a good way to replace meetings. But how can we make asynchronous communication work? So there are three must-dos for you if you want to use asynchronous communication in your organization. Number one is whenever you communicate something asynchronously, you have to make sure that it is clearly understandable and you have a complete documentation of what you are sharing there so that no questions have to be asked to understand it better. It has to be fully understandable with all the information attached you want to share. Number two, communication guidelines. There it is important for you as an organization to develop those communication guidelines so that your members know what to communicate through which channel and how fast they have to reply on what channel. If you're already working on your communication guidelines, this is also a great moment to determine what meetings you should drop and what meetings you should keep. And then number three, respect working hours of your teammates. If you're working through different time zones, it is so important that you respect working hours regarding the answers you're expecting. If people are sleeping, if you're off office, you can't expect an answer there. So keep that in mind, the working hours of your members, so that that there's no misunderstanding through this communication. As you may know, there are various tools out there in this world who can help you in your asynchronous communication. We have Slack, we have MetaMost, we have Rocket Chat, or we have Microsoft Teams, and many, many others who can just support you in your asynchronous communication and keep it organized. So I would love to say that asynchronous communication is the most inclusive way of communication because it allows your teammates to answer in the right moment when they are focused, when they have the time to really get into your question and to really give you the feedback you need and to really answer what you're expecting. And it adapts to working hours from different team members throughout the world. And so it is an inclusive way for you to, yeah, to collaborate better with your team. So now, if you're asking yourself, I have this reason, I have this issue, should I meet up or shouldn't I? I have a short checklist for you with some questions to ask before you schedule your next meeting. So, whenever you ask yourself, shall we meet? Is ask yourself, has the meeting a clear objective? What is the reason for your meeting? Or you're just feeling like this is like the weekly meeting and we should do it anyway? Do you need the whole team for it? You should rather invite only team members who are really needed to meetings so that attention span is really good and people are really enjoying the time in their meetings. Must people immediately react to each other? Do you need to see the reaction to one another? And do you want to use it like a creative process that input from one team member results in an idea to another? Then that's definitely a good reason to meet. Or and do you need more than just a technical feedback? If it's just about sharing information, there's no meeting needed. But if you would like to have a more profound feedback, for example, if you would like to see the reactions of your team members or how they interact with one another on the issue, then this is also a very good reason to meet. So whenever you answer all those questions with a yes, then set a clear objective and invite the right people to your meeting and just enjoy the time together as a team. I hope these tips help you to waste less time in your organization with unnecessary meetings, and I hope to see you in my next video.